Yes, it's that time of year again. And today we are taking a short break from paleontology and science in general, and we are going to talk about an animated series that I hold dear to my heart. And for those that are upset and really want me to talk about paleontology, sorry. I want to try something new for a change, and please do not automatically dislike this video just because it's something out of the ordinary. I'll return to paleontology next week, and I bet this video will be just as interesting to you anyway. To those that are new to this channel, I'm a big fan of animation and movies, maybe just as much as paleontology, and sometimes I like to take a break and talk about my favorite movies and stuff, and talk about some of the symbolism and subtle hints that are often appear in animation and movies that help us understand the story. And because my name, The Explainer, does not limit me within the boundaries of just science, I want to dabble in pointing out some symbolism and explanations of movies and animated TV shows. And one of my favorites to talk about is Over the Garden Wall. And well, Over the Garden Wall finally got a DVD release, and it's just been a long time since I've talked about anything other than paleontology. So now, let's talk about Over the Garden Wall. And finally answer that teeny tiny tease I said about half a year ago. What is the unknown? Yes, finally it is here. I will try to answer what is the unknown from Over the Garden Wall. And just to warn you guys, spoiler alert, this video will make almost no sense to someone that has not watched the show. Over the Garden Wall follows two brothers, Wirt and Greg, wandering a mysterious land called the Unknown. A strange world dominated by a large forest and sparsely populated with even stranger people that appear to have come from multiple times in Earth's history. Wirt and Greg's main purpose is to find their way back home. And again, if you haven't watched the show, go do it right now. You'll like it. As the story progresses, we the viewers learn that Wirt and Greg are brought to the Unknown after being knocked out and falling into a river on Halloween in modern day. And after meeting and helping numerous characters in the Unknown, as well as confronting the demonic antagonist being, the Beast, the two boys return home and wake up on the side of the river bank as if it was only a dream. And the biggest question brought up considering the show is what the unknown exactly is. Was it only a dream? Well, let me first address that theory straight away. On their journey into the unknown, Wirt and Greg bring their pet frog. In episode 8, as the boys are in the unknown, the frog swallows a bell that lights up when rung. At the end of the last episode, when the frog is in real life and is shaken, his belly lights up, just as it did in the unknown. So clearly, the unknown is not just a dream and actually really happened. Well then, what is it? I think it's quite obvious by now that the unknown is a sort of afterlife, a form of purgatory, a holding tank if you will, where the souls of people go after they have died, and everybody in the unknown is dead. There is a lot of evidence to support this, as there are many references to death in the afterlife. In episode 9, it is revealed that Wirt and Greg and their frog are all transferred to the unknown shortly after drowning in a river. In episode 1, they awaken in the unknown with no explanation. And at the end of the story, the boys wake up from drowning again as if nothing has happened, clearly showing that the only way to gain entrance to the unknown is by death or being close to it, and the only exit is by life. This might be hinting that all three of their souls were transferred to the unknown and the whole story was just their struggle between life and death. This idea that the unknown is the afterlife is also supported by one of the inhabitants' names, Quincy Endicott from the unknown, is actually seen on the grave in real life in episode 9. Meaning he is indeed dead, and that is definitely his soul or ghost. The icon on his grave is also similar to the one on the title card that appears in front of every episode, again hinting that the unknown, and all the events that take place in it, is the afterlife. Another hint that the inhabitants of the unknown are deceased can be found in Miss Langtry's song, Langtry's Lament. In this song, she describes a very depressing portion of her life, where she is very sad by the loss of her love interest. At the end of the song she says,
I remember life with you around. I wish I had 9 lives like that one. Oh.
In this cut piece of dialogue, she probably would have motioned towards the cat student seen in the school in this episode. It is a well-known urban myth that cats have 9 lives. Langtry's comment could be hinting that Miss Langtry wished she was not dead and had more lives like a cat. Now why would somebody who is not dead wish she had 9 lives? So that she wouldn't be dead. It makes no sense other than the point that she is dead. Another hint is one of the towns in the unknown is Pottsfield, no doubt a reference to a potter's field, a place for the burial of unknown people, often used during times of war and famine. It is important to notice it is always fall in the unknown. Fall is often symbolized as a transition period, a time of recouping and getting ready for winter. It is an in-between. Now this idea can be applied to the unknown itself. In early concept art for Over the Garden Wall, the unknown seems to be called the in-between, no doubt a reference to an area in between life and the afterlife. Similar to Purgatory from Dante's Inferno, a book that has many, and I mean many, similarities to Over the Garden Wall, which I will go over in another video. Where it also says,
At least wait until the storm dies down a bit. You'll be no good to your brother dead.
I was never any good to him alive, either.
Notice he does not say I'm never good to him alive. He says I was, past tense, as if Wirt knows he is dead and his bad treatment towards his brother. His referencing might actually be referring to how in real life in episode 9, right before Wirt and Greg drown and are transported into the unknown, Wirt really doesn't care for Greg and just doesn't treat him right. He might be feeling for regret for what he did in life. The unknown being a form of the afterlife would also answer why the fact people from multiple time periods in Earth's history can be found here. Victorians and people from the Middle Ages can all be seen in the same world. Wirt and Greg are hinted to be from at least after the 90s, so they are clearly not belong in the unknown. The unknown simply being an afterlife for people of all time periods to go to when they die simply makes the most sense. So what the unknown is simple. It is the afterlife, where souls go after they have died before they go someplace else. The real question is, why do people come to the unknown? What is its purpose? Well, the show subtly hints at this throughout the series. My theory is that souls end up in the unknown because they died with unfinished business before their death. These souls are restless and without peace before they died. And the unknown is simply an in-between realm where the souls go to solve and accept their unfinished businesses before they truly go to heaven or go back to life. I came to this conclusion by two of the Woodsman's quotes in the introductory song. Throughout the series, there are references to burdens to bear. The woodsman in Over the Garden Wall is a wise old man who has spent a long amount of time in the unknown, so it just makes the most sense that he would know a lot about it, and its purpose. In episode 1, right when Wirt and Greg enter the unknown, the woodsman says,
Everyone has a torch to burn, and this here is mine.
Notice when he is referring to a burden to bear or a torch to burn, he is referring not just to himself but to everyone in the unknown. This is affirmed by his later comment towards Wirt.
North, look for a town.
Yeah, thanks. Come on, Greg.
One last thing. Beware the unknown. Fear the beast, and leave these woods if you can. It is your burden to bear.
Right, yeah, got it.
The idea of burdens being a majority aspect of the people of the unknown is brought up by the introductory song as well. Our bygone burdens are mere echoes of the spring. So what we can get from this is that everyone in the unknown, including Wirt and Greg, has burdens to bear or tasks to complete. Now what are these burdens to bear? If we use the same idea that burdens to bear are past deeds in life that a soul has not accepted or completed yet, we can use this to understand the introductory song in the Woodsman's comment. The line, "Our long bygone burdens are mere echoes of the spring," told us that these burdens have taken place in the spring and still haunt the inhabitants of the unknown. Now the unknown takes place primarily in fall. Spring happened in the past. These burdens or unfinished businesses are past deeds that are echoes in the unknown and its people. So what we can take from this is that everyone in the unknown has a problem, has a burden to bear, has a task to complete. Wirt died with unfinished business of both saving his brother and not facing his fears by displaying his true emotions to Sarah. The woodsman is constantly haunted by the loss of his daughter and his responsibility to keep her alive. The woodsman's burden to bear is not really his lantern, it is his over-attachment to his daughter. The beast even says after the woodsman discovers that he's killing other people to save his own daughter, would it even matter? He values all other life above his daughter's, and only after he accepts this is he content. Beatrice feels guilty towards her family for turning them into bluebirds. The tavern attendants don't have a purpose as they constantly seek titles and works. Langtree obviously died with unfinished feelings towards a former lover who left her. Lorna is oppressed by her aunt who intends to keep her safe from demons. Everyone in the unknown has problems, and it is only when Wirt and Greg come along are they fixed and happy once again. At the end of the series, after the woodsman accepts his daughter's death, finishing his burden to bear, and Wirt and Greg leave the unknown, finishing their burden to bear, we can assume all the souls they encountered and helped also left the unknown. This can be exhibited in the changes of their attitudes and the unknown itself. They seem happy and content. The woodsman even gains his lost loved one, who was taken by the beast. Happiness, dead loved ones, this feels a lot like heaven. The unknown transitions from fall to winter. Winter is white and peaceful, and actually is often associated with cleansing and heaven, almost as if these souls ascended into heaven itself. I believe the whole outro to Over the Garden Wall is us seeing all these characters ascend into heaven after they've completed their burdens to bear. Everything is white, just like heaven is described to be. In heaven, it is believed that you will live happy and peacefully, and see loved ones that you have lost, and that is exactly what happens in the ending to Over the Garden Wall. This idea also displays the beast's true purpose as well. He wants souls to stay in the unknown for eternity, to keep him alive. He wants to prevent these souls from completing their tasks and leaving the unknown. He does this by scaring them and turning them into trees once they have given up hope that they will ever leave the unknown, as seen by how Wirt was starting to turn into a tree when he gave up on trying to get home. The beast is the devil. He tricks and betrays people into submitting to him and never leaving the unknown, never to complete their unfinished business, keeping them from heaven and life. So what is the meaning of the unknown? I believe the unknown is the afterlife. Between heaven and hell, redemption and damnation. Souls that have died, not accepting their burdens and unfinished businesses, are transported here, such as those who did not accept their own deaths or face their fears. In this realm, they are tempted and given opportunities to either submit to the beast and stay in the unknown forever, or overcome their burdens to bear and ascend into heaven, or in Wirt and Greg's case, go back to life. Over the Garden Wall is all about acceptance and faith. It's to never to give up hope. But that's just a theory. A Over the Garden Wall theory? Wait a second, this isn't game theory. Well, anyways, thanks for watching. And stay tuned for another video talking about more in-depth symbolism in Over the Garden Wall. And don't forget to watch my next sciencey video, What Dinosaur is Godzilla? And again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.